Today we're making a really fun design for mom. I've got 3 extra fine tip paint pens here. These are the Artistro brand. You need 2 colors to split your heart in half and 1 color for your lining. I'm using white. So we're going to start by putting down a heart on our rock. Now the shape of your heart can kind of just depend on the shape of your rock. If you cannot freehand a heart, that is okay as well. You can cut out a template with a piece of paper and trace it. I'm kind of using more of a sketch style line here because we are going to fill this in with color anyways. So I'm just loosely putting it on here. The main thing is I want the outer edge of my white to be the heart that I want. So don't worry about any lines left over on the inside. Just work on the outside edge until you like the general shape of your heart. Then we're going to use cursive to write the word mom inside of our heart. Now, I practiced writing this on sheet of paper a couple of times before I got started. You can use any style of kind of cursive or hand lettering that you want. The main thing is you want to split the space all the way across the heart so that you can create the two-tone look that we do at the end here. I also made a loop. I like having some raw rock inside of my lettering, so keep that in mind. You can kind of play around with your lining as much as you want. Just don't cover up the holes that you're trying to have come through. Once you've got your word laid down, we are going to thicken up some of the lines just to give it a more hand-lettered look. I always just use the rule of thumb. If you're doing a downward stroke, you can make that line thicker. Upward strokes, you can keep thinner. Again, we are going to color this entire design in, so don't be too hard on yourself here when you're doing your line. This is just kind of like a rough draft at this point in time. You're going to be able to fix problems or fix lines or adjust lines when you are going in with your color afterwards. And then you're going to reline this like 2 or 3 times during the design. So now that we've got all of our word on here, we're going to start filling in the design. Now, I've got 2 different colors here. You're going to pick one for the top and one for the bottom. I'm doing a pink and a teal because you guys know I like pink and teal together. We're just going to go all along the top of the letters, all the way to the top of the heart, and just fill it in solid. Now, I'm using an extra fine tip paint pen here. You can definitely do this with acrylic paints as well. Just get into all those little nooks and crannies. If you need to grab a toothpick or a dotting tool to kind of get down into those little areas, grab them, or you might just have a nice little thin liner paintbrush. That works as well. But we're just going to fill in this entire top half of the heart with our pink. Now I'm leaving the section inside my letters anywhere that's open and raw rock open, like the center of the O and the loop on the M, and even the little curl I did on that second M. Then we're going to do the same thing on the bottom half, just with a different color. Again, I'm using a light teal here. Use whatever color combination that you want to use. And this is what I was saying. I didn't really love my second M on here, so I'm just really going to get that color all the way up in there so that when I come back through and reline it with my white, I've got plenty of area to work with. I can cover up any of that extra white that I don't love. Make sure you work all the way out into the white edges. You're going to reline this with white anyway, so if you go over the top of the white, that's better than leaving bare rock showing. Now I'm going to speed up my drawing process by using a blow dryer in between layers. I do this on the cool setting when I use it so that my rock doesn't get super hot. Then I'm going to come back and do a second layer on my color before I even go back at that lining, just so it has some time to dry. Now when I do a second coat of paint pens especially, I tend to put my paint pen slightly to its side. I don't like to go directly in with the tip. Sometimes you can kind of disturb that layer below unless you've given it a overnight to dry sometimes. So I'm just kind of laying this second layer right on top. You can use the paint pen tips. Just make sure that the paint is flowing really well when you do this second coat so that you don't disturb the coat that you did underneath. Go ahead and get all the way out to those edges and repeat on the bottom layer if you need to. So this is what I like about these Artistro pens. When they sit for a while, you can see that the paint separates. This actually shows you how quickly that does happen. So just make sure you're shaking up your pens every time, whether you can see the inside or not. They always need to be shaken up after they've been sitting and resting. Next, we're just going to go back in with our white and we're going to really crisp up and thicken up the word mom through the center of our heart. So just take your time and really focus on where you want your lining to be. Lay it on nice and neatly, really slow. Doodle off your tip often if you're going over the top of any color. You don't want to pull any of that color into your white. If you don't want to do this on a rock, that's fine. You could use this tutorial to do a really cute hand-lettered card or any other craft. Really, you could paint this onto anything that you want. We're also going to outline our heart again. And of course, you know I love to add little dots along my designs just to add a little bit of fun. And you have this beautiful special stone that you can give to mom. So I really hope you enjoyed this rock painting tutorial. Make sure that you subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and let me know what you think about it in the comments. All those things really help our channel grow. Happy painting. Bye-bye.